So, this episode of The Inner Edge is absolutely exciting for me because I don't have the chance too often to meet amazing power women in our business. But here we have one, Jenny from Gitti. And I must say, I have my own special, so to say, discovery story of Gitti and Jenny, which I hope to share soon. But first of all, I just want to say, like, I'm so excited to have you, Jenny, and welcome to my and Annie's, but it's only today mine podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm also very excited and thrilled for our conversation.
Amazing. So, Gitti is a personal story for me because like I did not have, just to say plainly, time in my youth to really do the usual stuff which girls do, meaning like painting their faces, try makeup, play with their nails with different colors. Somehow, let's say my youth didn't have that included for me. So for me, and makeup was always like an interesting relationship. However, therefore I was so to say challenged by life when I inherited the board seat on Giddy Sport through my job at Exchange. And I really asked myself, like, okay, what can I add to Giddy and what can I add to the board? As I had no clue of nail and no clue of makeup. And it is even more, let's say, exciting and brilliant for me that actually Giddy made me to the biggest fan of, makeup and nails. And I'm like a daily user. I mean, this face is today Giddy. And so I'm a daily user of Giddy. And so it's a personal, so to say, turnaround story for me. And I think it must be wonderful to work on a product which can turn around people like you did with me. So, yeah, how is that? How is your own personal story to Giddy?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thank you for sharing your personal story. And I'm really excited to hear that. I feel like, that makes my job so special when you actually listen to customer feedback. And in your case, I mean, you are one of our board members, and in the end, becoming a loyal customer and fan of our products. That makes my day, right? I mean, how did I come to Gitty? Oh my God, that's a story. I mean, before, literally, I'm not somebody born in the beauty world or experienced marketing expert. Actually, I was kind of rather had a very corporate career, how to say so, with big corporates like Henkel. Maybe are familiar to you. They have this famous washing powder, Persil. They have a beauty unit, Schwarzkopf, but they also have adhesives. And then I worked for Coca-Cola, but all of the times actually in HR. So on topics like learning and development, leadership, employer branding. So
How
that,
crazy is that?
yeah, that was my career focus before GT. And
Nobody could have thought that there's a product expert, so to say, coming out of an HR person. So that's
yes,
even more exciting.
yes.
Amazing.
I feel nowadays it helps me a lot by building a company, culture, performance review, etc. But back in the days, I mean, that's where I started. But my career in Coca-Cola was actually quite steep, and I stayed with the company for a couple of years, had national roles, international roles. I was just like beginning on my 30s, already responsible for leadership development programs in 16 European countries, had this, corner office, the assistant, the company car. And you would say in corporate
You had
terms,
a big one.
that's a career, right? And then, but I felt at this point, it felt more like stakeholder management. And I mean, you know me, I'm a person, I need to be fully excited from head to toe about what I'm doing. So actually, really from one day to another, I just quit my job because I felt like I need to do something else. And I'm firm believer, and that's just my
Sorry,
personality.
just sorry. I have to ask now, weren't you scared? Because I think it's not often
Yeah.
talked too much about it. Did you have these thoughts of like, oh my God, I don't have my salary anymore? Like, I mean, what was going on in your head? Just
Yeah, I think,
quickly.
I mean, one part, I mean, this job, of course, I earned so much, I had a little bit of savings, right? It was not
That's
that
very
I
good.
just
Yeah.
jumped out of the blue, but I think it comes back a little bit about my personality. In my terms, like career is not just something linear, right? It's not just, it's going up. For me, it's something, It feels like I always need to be excited and thrilled about what I'm doing. I don't have a problem when I left Coca-Cola. I need to move to a smaller apartment because I couldn't afford the old one anymore. You know, I wasn't going for lunch to fancy restaurants. I made my sandwich, but that was fine for me because I had this feeling I just need to do something else. And I'm like a person. It's like I know I need to close one door in my life in order that another one can open. So I'm
This
really
is
like,
this is,
yeah,
I think, so beautiful, because I often say to people, I mean, I heard once this picture that you first have to make the paper white again so that you can paint on it again, right? And I think a lot of us, and I mean, definitely myself, I'm sometimes scared to look at that blank picture, right? Because you know that it's a chance to paint something beautiful, but you don't know what's coming.
yeah,
So I do think we maybe don't stress often enough how important it is to dare to look at this white paper and fill it new,
yes,
and not, you know, have something there and then you just fill a new corner and then you think you can build on this again, but actually the
yeah,
picture will never be a new full beauty, right? I mean, you
yeah.
can only create art from something empty, so to say.
No, I absolutely agree. But I think it comes back to my firm belief. I feel like for me, life is rather about, you know, the experience that you make, the learnings, the people that you make, something where you could really shape something. It's not just about adding material stuff. So for me, part of this, why a lot of people felt like, are you crazy? You know, they felt like, now you earned your career, right? You went to a business school and now you got a proper job and decent salary. But that is not my belief of what makes me happy. Therefore, I could basically just say, okay, it doesn't resonate fully with me. So I need to take the decision. And even if everybody else think I'm crazy, I'm leaving. So that was originally why I even had, you know, time for something new, like new thinking coming up. And then at this time I was in London. A couple of months later, I was in Berlin. I was invited to a dinner, and like, I mean, you know, Berlin, huh? Everybody was talking about what important project everybody is working on, and yeah,
And
I
how
was like,
cool they
so
are,
you
how
do,
much money.
yeah, how cool, yeah, exactly. But then, I mean, I had a little bit of wine that evening, and then somebody opposite on my table asked me, but now, hey, Jenny, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And I got this question, and actually, I mean, the first thing that came into my mind, and please don't laugh, it was glitter nail polish. Now imagine, I'm sitting in this table, everybody talking about their, you know, money that they make, the important projects they run. And literally my first thought was glitter nail polish. I mean, I was always a big fan of nail polish, I must say. Every Sunday I did my nails, but rather more of a self-care moment, you know, like sitting
Yeah.
down, like it's a little bit of meditation, right? I like focusing on doing my nails, getting ready for the
Yeah, you
week,
can't
but
think
I
of
never
anything
wore
else.
glitter nail polish.
Yes,
Yeah,
fully get
yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. But I was never using glitter nail polish, right? So I was like, okay, wow, where did this thought came from? So I said, hey, cool question. I didn't dare to say glitter nail polish. I was like, wow, that's a bit freaky. But I said, cool question. I need to think about it. In that night, I went home. I couldn't sleep, and I grabbed my computer, went to the kitchen, and started researching about nail polish. And that was in January 2018. And I'm probably this moment, I feel like think exactly like this moment, it feel like something hit me. It's like I came obsessed about nail polish because immediately I found out how toxic regular nail polish could still be, cancer causing, affecting your hormonal system. After applying a nail polish, 2 hours later, you could measure the toxic ingredients in your body. And I mean, at this point, I must say, I was already aware, right, of how many toxins are in foods that we eat, or even maybe in skincare. But nail polish, I had no clue about it.
But
Yeah,
this
so
is
I just,
actually, I mean, this is maybe just one point where I quickly also want to break, because let's say for me, as I maybe was not playing as a little girl with all this stuff, like in the later days when you get these probes from, I don't know, Chanel or something, then I put this on my skin or you put it on your nails. And then even the thought of like what you take down in the evening made me feel so unnatural and so dirty. Yeah, I mean, like really this feeling of dirty that I never wanted to apply it. And I mean, obviously I do look better if I have it, but like I never wanted to do it. And I think that was the moment when I understood that, and being on your board, so being forced to actually understand the product, right? I was like, oh my God, yeah, it's actually something where it might also be okay to go to bed with it, where I don't feel dirty. And I think that this is something which resonates with so many women, to not feel this dirty, but still feel good. And actually, really, I mean, when you become, so to say, beautiful, you also do something which is not harming you, but it's really then a full sensation of doing something good to you. And I mean, this was just, I wanted to say, and this was really like, for me, the most important point about your product.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that makes me really proud, because I feel like, that was kind of how Giddy started. I mean, at that point, I did all the research, finding out, studying new product. But I mean, just to give also the listeners a little bit of understanding how difficult it is to develop cosmetic products in a way that are not harmful is, just imagine you go to a 5-star restaurant and you eat the most delicious tiramisu in your entire life. And like every bit, you feel the sugar, you feel the cream, you feel the softness, but like how it tastes is just so mind blowing. We do the same in beauty for your nails, for your face, but just take out all the sugar, all the cream, all the adhesives. We just do it in a natural way. And that's so difficult to achieve the same performance in terms of technical development. That's just as giving somebody the idea what we actually do. Sometimes it's just like they do nail polish. Yeah, but we do nail polish based on the fermentation of plants. They do mascara, but our mascara is just based on 100% natural ingredients, and it has the same performance. So that's in terms of product development and technical skills and knowledge. It's so difficult. I feel like for me, it resonates always the most when you think about food and how to kind of achieve the same taste and texture when you just take all of the nasties out of it.
Okay. I mean, and that I think is so fascinating. You had a crazy idea. You did not come from the area. You had a corporate career. So everyone would probably say, like, you can't become an entrepreneur out of a corporate idea, a career, right? So basically, you had nothing what it takes to be successful, right? And then you have to do funding. And I mean, I was a B2C founder, so I know how difficult and how expensive it is to acquire a customer. So, I mean, how did you take Diddy then from the ground to a crazy successful company? Because I hope we will come to this point now of, let's say, talking about what's happening with Giddy today, which is mind blowing. I think you know that I'm a big fan, but yeah. So, how do you do it? How do you find your customer?
I mean, at the beginning, like a product development, it was a hell of a ride. Yeah, like being somebody not coming from the beauty expertise, develop such a technical product. I think what really helped me is two aspects. I think my absolutely high intrinsic motivation. I mean, that night when I start researching, I feel like a lightning hit me. Right? I want that's my obsession. That's my mission. Even if at times, especially at the beginning, I was a little bit embarrassed, right? Telling, okay, my mission in life is making nail polish and beauty products better. I felt like, why couldn't it be something else, like, peace of the world or something? But that's I like. Um, that is what drives me every day. It's like this really high intrinsic motivation and always finding a way. And then it was like, in the end, it was extremely, really, really hard work, finding the right partner, the right laboratory, the right first chemical assistant who just started believing in my vision. But I think that the second topic why I kind of made it to the point is that I always take feedback as a fuel for growth. So when I had my first product, I was so excited, right? I came to this point where I had my first product sample, and I invited friends and family over, had a round table in my living room, yeah, a flip chart set up. I mean, that was all back to 2018, right? And everybody was applying the nail polish, and I was like so thrilled. Yeah, okay, now I will get the feedback. And they literally hated everything about the product. The texture, the coverage, you applied it, it started cracking. But every negative feedback, I didn't feel smaller. I was just like, it felt like, okay, I just needed to improve it. Thank you. Okay, I need to improve it. I feel like this feedback, and especially critical negative feedback, was for me the fuel to make it better. And I think nowadays, I sometimes see it even, in younger people joining the team. Sometimes people see negative or critical feedback as something personal. I don't see it personal. I just see it, okay, I can make something better. So, but now, I mean, then 1.5 years later, I launched the first collection, sold out in less than 2 hours. And I mean, the
How
first,
did you do that? I mean, I think a lot of people who have this lightning moment, they think like, okay, but I don't find the money to develop it. I don't find the customers to buy it. I mean, how did you do that? What do you think? What was the biggest
yeah, I mean,
success factor?
I think back in the days, I mean, that was 2018. I could straight away see, right? I mean, I don't have a money to run a marketing or a brand campaign, but I had social media. So I think I was one of the early founders who really started building a community from day one. I shared literally everything what I did on social media, like the first time, how the first product went, even from all my failures, like just also small stuff. I created a flyer, and the flyer turned out to be green instead of white and black, and I just made them part of something, and we were building something together. When I had the first samples, I invited people over, got their feedback on colors. So it was really about building the community from the start, which helped me when I then launched my first collection immediately on the launch day. I had more than 1,000 customers already on my subscriber list. Collection was sold out in less than 2 hours in the first year. On just 9 days, I made a little bit more than 315K of revenue. I think that was all built on the initial first community that I built on social media.
Yeah, and I think that sounds a little bit like maybe very technically correct, so to say, for everyone listening, because you think like, okay, that's the way of you, like how you launch B2C product. But as I know you, and I also know the brand so well, I feel what it creates for me or anyone probably who knows you a little bit better and follows you in the community, it's not really like being part of the community, but it's like the trust, right? I mean, we do really trust you that we use a product which is healthy, where you care about that it's not harming, so to say, us as a consumer. And I think that's a crazy good narrative, which is not like just a story and a narrative, which is a brand and cool to tell. It's actually true. I mean, you are really dedicating your life to providing something healthy to us, and I think that's which I think like is so special. But I think that's where really the real stories are made from, and it's really funny when I understood that. Maybe now, as we're progressing, that was actually what I missed also for a while.
Yeah, I know.
When I,
I just
I
wanted to say, you helped me coming back, right? You helped me coming back.
yeah,
Yes.
so maybe you tell a little bit about the story, like what happened. I mean, this success and this trust and your dedication in the first part, and then maybe the middle story of Gitti and where we're not now. And yeah, and I mean, I'm so grateful to see you again. Let's say, giving us as your customers the trust back into the
Yeah.
brand.
Cool. Yeah, but I really wanted to say, I think that, I just wanted to say you are the person who, were sitting with me here in the office back in the days with my co-CEO and saying, hey, you need to get out of in front of the camera again. But yeah, I mean, just taking you from, launch day, I think the first 3 years were just like a growth story from, zero revenue to 7.5 million in less than 3 years. That was a phenomenal growth story. And then there was the middle part
It is still.
where
It is still.
yeah,
Come on.
no, it's still, but there was
7 million with
yeah,
product.
Yeah, that was year 3, and then I mean, the middle part was challenging because I think what happened is with this growth, we kind of there were 2 assumptions how the company can grow even further. One was, okay, taking the brand positioning from nails to entire beauty. So from nails to entire makeup to skincare. And that was too broad. It was now looking back, it was too complex to develop all these products, because you must imagine, developing a nail care product, you have a very specific laboratory. But when you talk then about mascara, then there's another partner. Lipstick is another partner, skincare is another. So complexity was massive. And at the same time, the positioning that we had customer facing for nails, like we are the cleanest nail polish that you can get, to stretch it for makeup and skincare became more difficult because the market was already very crowded. There are a lot of successful makeup or further makeup artists who develop their own brands. There are technical doctors like, Dr. Barbara Sturm or Augustina Spadas, they own skincare. And for us, it was too difficult to expand the positioning across a broader portfolio. That was the middle part that was challenging. So there was stagnation. And the other part was internationalization in terms of we looked first at Europe. And in an Excel sheet, everything looks beautiful. You're next to Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. You're at France. You're at Spain. You're at Italy, and Excel is just, it gives you the future. But the reality is, the European customer is so different, especially in terms of beauty. Beauty is something completely different for somebody who lives in Scandinavia or somebody who lives in Italy or in France. So understanding that the blueprint that we had developed for the DACH market is not easily applicable to all the other markets. So with all the, at the same time, complexity going on, internationalization, I also, I got a baby. Our family was growing. And I think there was also a moment where it was really too much, where I had to realize I had to take a break. I had a burnout where I felt, wow, I kind of lost the connection to my inner voice. And the inner voice is, I think, what makes Gitti so successful, and where you said you trust me, because the inner voice helped me always thinking about the customer, right? What do I need to want to improve? What kind of products the company needs, in order to make customer lives better? And I lost this, so I needed to take a break. That was hard. Understanding taking a break, when you're in a roller coaster and you're at 180. But I feel like now looking back, it was one of the most profound things that happened to me, because I think I was growing as a leader, as the founder and CEO of Gitti, and as a person. I feel like I'm much more connected to my inner voice. I'm grounded. I have, at the same time, energy. My vision is crystal clear of what kind of company I would build. But that happened kind of in the middle part. When I came back, I said, okay, we need to change a few things. So I stopped and I said, okay, product, the depths of the portfolio, we need to find the focusing again on nails. That is where we started. There are we extremely good at. So we discontinued like face skincare. We still have skincare for hand and foot, which is close to nails. And we limited makeup portfolio to just the best sellers, because there are a few things which is perfect for us for cross and upsell, like where people don't need a lot of knowledge, like complexion products is nothing for us, or concealers, but something that you're wearing, like mascara, a little bit of gloss, a little bit of lip balm, a blush, that fits perfectly. But I sharpened the portfolio for makeup, expanded the portfolio on nails, and I did a repositioning, which helps us now to grow and start this year with a, I would say, kind of big success story again.
Yes, I mean, let's start maybe here. I think, I mean, like, you're spot on, and you're crazy, let's say, in the force of like how this is happening. I mean, it's basically like a rocket unfolding. And I think that's so impressive. And I think such a role model story for everyone who is a leader out there. Because what you showed is that you came with these like supervision, clear conviction, you created a community and the trust with your customers, but you also faced, let's say, challenges of like, okay, you maybe were overwhelmed at a certain time by the growth of the company, and you had to grow with the company. And I think as an investor, I do see a lot of founders who start somewhere and they're perfect in these early phases, but then they actually do have challenges to grow with the company, because with every growth stage you have new challenges, right? And you need to adjust with all the growth stages. You need to be actually a different leader. I mean, in the beginning you need to convince people you are on the marketing front, you need to get funding, and then you need to scale. You have suddenly a big organization and you need to decide on product lines. So the challenges change all the time, and you as a leader need to, so to say, cope with that. Plus you have a private life. And I mean, I think for us women it's still much more complex than for any man. Sorry, I'm not a feminist, but it is true. You know, you have a baby in between. You have a burnout. I mean, amazing story. And then you decide actually you to come back to do it yourself, and then you suddenly see that the company is exploding in the positive way again, and you can actually apply all the learnings and also your personal growth. Yeah, your time you took out, and you had to reflect, and the opportunity to learn, and you come back and you apply that successfully. I mean, that must be the most beautiful experience you can actually do. So yeah, so how is that? How does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like we met a few days ago and saw each other for early dinner, and sometimes just hearing that, but then also reflecting on specific moments where you have interaction with people. And I also shared with you, we had a conversation where you said something to me, and that helped me developing or finding my path for my role in this company as a founder and CEO, but also for me personally. And I feel like now reflecting on it is, you need a very strong inner voice of what kind you want to build, but there will always be people outside of you where you have interaction with, that resonates so deeply with you, which kind of put you on an accelerated growth path. So
Oh, I cry.
no, it's yeah, no, but I feel like that's it, and I feel like it's also so beautiful to share with others. It's like you look back at this and you feel like, yeah, there are moments, you have so many moments in your day, right? But there are very few moments that mean so much, and you realize, oh yeah, that's now what I need to do. And everything else becomes so clear, then, okay, that's my path, that's what I need to do, and you just go. And so thank you. Yeah. But I mean, I feel like now we are, it's the beginning. We are getting ready for something much bigger, and I feel excited, and it's a good time also. Yeah, it's a good time.
And one thing you said to me, I mean, in this conversation, because I said like to you, I mean, why don't you use the opportunity that we trust you? Why don't you go out to the camera again and speak? And why don't you educate us, me especially, right? I'm very selfish as a customer. And why don't you educate us about like what we should do, and what products we should use? And yet you said to me you don't have the energy. And I think that was so great also for me, that you were reflecting of what you could do and what not. Maybe you tell future entrepreneurs of what that means, and yeah, maybe also how you find your energy.
Yeah. I feel like, first of all, also with our conversation, I realized probably what are the aspects of my job which is so important for Gitti that the company can grow. And actually one aspect that we identified is, yeah, probably the level of trust empathy with our communities and customers when I talk to our customers and explain the products, that I can become like a trust element for them, that and when I didn't feel good about it and the company was growing, I thought, no, people are what's this saying to me? Yeah? No, you as a CEO, you should do something different, right? You shouldn't do social media videos or ads or whatsoever. You need to manage the company. But no, I need to do that because that adds so much value to the company. And when you look at very big beauty companies like Dr. Barbara Sturm, they're doing the same because they became this one person, customer facing, who gives the level of trust for the product portfolio. And back in the days when we had this conversation, I said, I don't have the energy. And luckily I got it back. I think one part was the break, taking one step back, where I always felt like it's not possible because everything is running forward, but sometimes it helps to just step back, as you said lately, yeah, have a little break, just reflecting and then coming back. And I feel like I needed to understand what gives me energy. And what gives me energy is I also need a little bit of freedom to and room for realizing my vision. So when everything gets too tight or I get too many instructions, I feel like my energy goes down. It's not only terms for me of course I need to sleep well and eat healthy food. Of course, that's also I need to do my sports, but I also need to have this culture in our company and also together with all of our stakeholders that I feel like I have the opportunity to shape and build. And I think I needed to get that back and communicate what is actually needed for me. And I think many founders also, especially when you're a first-time founder, maybe you feel like, no, I shouldn't ask that. They're also experienced. They have done it before. And no, but it's your company. You know your company the best. And I think finding out what is your superpower that is especially needed for the company to grow and expand. And in that case, it was also me becoming more present again. And it was then, I remember when the first days I did it, it was really exhausting. And now for me, it's like, I just love it. Yeah? I'm back, I'm talking to customers. I get personal letters from customers writing me happy that I'm back for our products, that they changed their life. And now I know one big part is always making sure that I preserve my energy. I mean, and in terms of what I need in order to build the company, but then also, of course, the basics. Enough sleep, good food, and time also with family and friends, and especially my daughter.
And it's probably also saying when you just have to have time for yourself. And in the end of the day, I think we women are sometimes a little bit, let's say, less strong in saying no. And here's my limit. That's what I want to do, and that's what I cannot do anymore. But like learning your own inner, so to say, capabilities and actually taking care of yourself by saying no, that's what I don't want to do, or I need to first have time for myself. I mean, actually seeing yourself as a resource and thinking like, to be honest, like, I mean, you want that now from me, but I don't want to give that right now because I need to find time for myself. And I mean, I'm struggling with it on a daily base, but then I'm thinking like, no, I just take this afternoon out because otherwise I'm gonna go on and go on and go on. And it's not gonna be better. It's gonna be worse, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
agree.
yeah,
Agree. And I sometimes feel like, especially nowadays, where you get contacted and people want something from you from every channel, yeah, email, LinkedIn, and here and there. And sometimes I feel like people I see they get rushed into that. All these questions from the outside side become their behavior instead of thinking, I decide this day what I'm doing. I have my agenda, what I'm doing for Gitti, what I need to do personally. And then the rest I need to see, where does it fit in? Instead of the outside is deciding what I'm doing. And I think in the past, especially at the beginning, when somebody approached me, I don't know, like from all different channels, I felt like I'm obliged directly to respond and do it. But then in the end, I just I just ended up responding to the outside and not delivering what I said to myself I need to do. And then you kind of start struggling, and then the days become too long and you sleep too less. And so I feel like, yeah, but now luckily, I think I came back to a very good point where I'm really excited. Okay, what's next for Gitti? And I would be so curious, to talk to you. I mean, we are anyway in close connection, but to tell you in a year where we are then already. So I feel like right now is really a fantastic time for the company and also for myself in a personal development.
I think this is a beautiful end. And I think it's so beautiful to see. I mean, women like you leading these great big companies out of Berlin. And we're talking so often of, like, say, the tech and the software companies, and to see successful examples of companies which do actually really something good, and then with a product you might not even expect that can have so much impact on people. I think it's just truly amazing and such a beautiful example for the crazy startup ecosystem we are in. So I'm so grateful for knowing you and being part of the journey in my beautiful role as a board member. And I think we're going to be super excited because, I mean, obviously your numbers are completely rocking, and what's coming in product, I cannot wait. Please deliver them soon. So from that sense, I do think we will definitely do a catch up in 1 year.
Nice, nice, cool.
Hear what happened. So yeah, thank you so much. And it's also amazing to see a mother, and because I do also think that it's so important, especially now for our kids, to see as women, these role models and these examples. And at least I do think for my kids, so strong experience for them, to feel, wow, there's so much possibility. You can, in AI times, you can still do these crazy successful things which might be not the typical path, right? Like and maybe against all odds as well, like you explained in the beginning.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you,
much. And
Jenny.
thank you for having me. Thank you. Wonderful.